Just to understand a little bit of the foundation, what does 3-day rule stand for?
Yeah, so the 3-day rule sort of moniker is there's a 3-day rule approach to successful dating. So if you want to date successfully, you need to follow these a 3-day rule approach. It's the day before the date, getting ready for the date. It's the day of the date, what you need to do on the date and not do on the date, and what you need to do the day after the date in order to be successful as a dater. It's not just going on a date and crossing your fingers and praying to God that this thing works out. You need to work. You need to prep. It's the day before, it's the day during, actual date, and it's the day following. If you follow our guide, 3-day guide to successful dating, you will find success when it comes to love.
Would you mind highlighting some of the tips from that guide that stick with you the most?
I mean, really, it's our secret sauce. So if you became a client, you would know. But I'll give you sort of, one of the big ones in terms of date prep. You don't just want to show up on a date. You want to be feeling zen. You want to feel chilled out and you want to feel comfortable. A lot of people and a lot of women get very anxious when it comes to dating, and they'll do a shot before or two shots before, a couple shots before. You want to do things that make you feel good. You want to have an endorphin rush before a date. And so it may be that the day before you do your date, you're talking to your friends about the date. You're getting excited about it. You're choosing what you're going to wear. You're choosing, am I going to take a bath? Am I going to take a shower? You're sort of planning out how you want to feel before you go on that date. So it's not sort of last minute. So planning what you wear, planning how you feel, and planning how you want to show up on the date, I think is very important. I always also like to say, when you go on a date, look for 3 redeeming qualities about a person, 3 things that you think are positive about the person, and 1 physical characteristic that you like. Instead of looking for red flags, look for things that are positive about the person. They told me a story and they portrayed the fact that they're kind, they're generous, they're loving, they care about education, they care about politics, they care about religion. Find those things that are common that you like about the person. 3, find 1 physical characteristic about the person that you like, and that's enough for date number 2. Again, so planning out this is important. On the date, right. So some of the most important things: do not be late for the date. Show up correctly. You want to dress to reflect your personality, not too much personality. You want to show skin if that's who you are and you feel comfortable doing that. You don't want to show everything. You want to reveal who you are as a person. You don't want to tell them your life story. They don't deserve your life story on the first date. So you need to think about on the date, what are the narratives that you want to share with them so that they can start asking questions about yourself. And then you can get into a real dialogue about each other. And it's really about asking those questions, active listening, and how to show up correctly on the date. And then I always say, after the date goes well, or if you think the day was okay, take 24 hours and think about this. Go home and on a piece of paper, write, what are the things that you really thought were interesting about the person, both emotional, values wise? What are the 3 things that you liked about the person? What's the at least 1 physical feature that you find cute or sexy or that you really want to see more of? And then, if there's not any gigantic red flag that you found out, go on another date. But I do think it's important to wait 24 hours and evaluate how you're feeling post date.
That was already pretty exhaustive and I think full of very, very useful tips. So thank you so much for that. And like you mentioned that coming into a date is like coming in with a positive mindset, with like a calm mind is very important. I wanted to ask you what are some of your practices to keep yourself in check because you navigate the entrepreneurial life, right? You run into obstacles nearly every day. How do you balance that yourself? What are some of your tips, tricks, and techniques that you practice to stay in the balance?
Yeah. Well, I just will say one last thing about this dating process. If when it all sums up, and if you're listening to this and fast forwarding, it all sums up to just being open to the possibility that this could be a great person, and not having the expectation that, Prince Harry is going to walk through the door, but having the expectation that a great person is going to walk through the door and you're going to have a great conversation. and you're going to get to know that person. And if it gets to the next level, wonderful. Again, I think that the mindset really matters when it comes to dating. We tend to think in a mindset of scarcity. Well, they're not going to like me because I'm curvy. They're not going to like me because I'm old. They're not going to like me because whatever it is, instead of having an abundance mindset. And I'm telling you that that mindset shift is a big reason why our clients are successful when dating. We help them shift that mindset before they even meet a person. So when they come into the date, they're open, they know who they want to show up as, they know how to be themselves on a date, they know how to convey themselves.